What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is Joe. This is game number 2. You might notice that there is a number 1 next to Nullus's name. That is because Joe missed his appointment. And by appointment, I mean he missed the game time due to whatever happened. And the rules effectively are, if you miss the first 10 minutes, you get 1-0. If you come in the next 10 minutes, you are able to play, you normally lose. But we just basically said in this tournament, because it's kind of a fun tournament in a way, that if the players have got the time to play the games, they can play the games. So Nullus just took a 1-0 lead based on the inconvenience that he had to play the games, and he's going to play them here against Joe in order to see if he can win. But we do have Isis and we do have Hades, so an exciting matchup nonetheless. We'll see how it's going to go, especially Joe's Isis. This is I talked about it already, and I'll talk about it again, and I'll talk about it until the end of time here, but I definitely don't think that Isis is the best of gods on this map. We are seeing Joe doing at least something very correct here in the start of this game. He's utilizing the early game goats to scout, the pharaoh to scout, the priest to scout, and he's spotting what's on the map. So he spots the aurochs over here, he spots the gazelle over here, he spots his town centers, which is fantastic for Joe in the early game. You see he's basically already scouted his half side of the map, and now we'll see how this is all going to end up going. So now we've got the villagers moving over here for the gazelle and all the other good stuff. Relic on the map. We do have the Kopesh of Horus. Actually, a really big relic for Nullus. This one gives 100% bonus damage for heroes against myth units. And what does Isis want to make? Ancestors Eclipse. So that's going to be an issue for Joe to overcome, is that his Ancestors Eclipse might not be as strong as he might think here in this game. So the question really comes down to, what should Joe do here in this game? And it looks to me like, because Joe's going for wood now, it looks to me like Joe is going for a 1 town center fast heroic style here in this game. And we'll see how it's going to go. As villagers making their way over onto this location over here to eat the hunt over there. And the water buffalo finishing up over on this position as well. Joe needs to throw down his temple, but in classic Joe fashion, he'll probably grab like 5 villagers and throw a temple up. He might be looking to try and get himself early Flood of the Nile here as well, which we've seen before, I guess. Finishing off the next water buffalo as well. Another relic has been uncovered here, which is the Black Lotus, an extra 10% farm gather rate, which I think if you get, correct me if I'm wrong, I think if you get Sacred Cats, Plow, and that relic, you get a fairly big boost in food. Could be wrong. I'm not sure. It's like getting Sacred Cats and irrigation, I guess. Well, Joe gets the pretty beautiful path blocking there on that Catoscopos. He chucks the granaries down all around the gold mine. He still hasn't started his temple though, as Nullus is going through Athena, and things continuing along here swimmingly. We see that's unfortunate. He picks off the Catoscopos, but Nullus gets a Hades Shade, which is an upgraded version of the Catoscopos in all ways apart from speed. It gets more armor, it gets more HP, it gets more damage, and 1 less speed. So a sad state of affairs there for Joe after doing all of that early game damage. He's going to be moving up onto these aurochs here, as his temple does end up coming down. The bast coming through for Joe as well. There's Ajax and a Hades Shade going to be able to move in and potentially prevent this hunt from being grabbed. As the Hades Shade on its way. The unit's going to be retreating back immediately here for Joe. He does have himself 2 goats in his base that he can be eating while he's eating this gazelle over here. It's going to be nice. Good wall over here to prevent like a Chiron from moving in onto this position. We do see the Chiron coming in to grab the Black Lotus here as well. Second town center coming up for Nullus. As the Minotaur over here as well, looking for something to take down. As the villager does do the cheeky garrison maneuvers here. The Minotaur going to be potentially trying to take down that sentry tower there as the Ajax searching for something to take out. But while this is all going on, seems like Joe is getting awfully close to being able to advance to the heroic age here. As the Minotaur getting taken out on this position, the Chiron pushing forward to try and take down this Pharaoh. The Pharaoh a little bit out of position here, but is what it is. There's the Minotaur. Gets sniped down there nicely by Joe. And Nullus going to be retreating away here with his relic in hand. And Joe just needs to get an armory up here as he's throwing it down now. Put a whole bunch of villagers over onto the golds here. How are the armory or the iconic upgrades looking? Not quite enough for Shaft Mine, but he's got himself pickaxe already, and he will be able to get that Shaft Mine fairly fast in the next age. So he just needs the armory up as he's going to be dropping his prosperity nice and early. I actually kind of like that. Using prosperity before you even click up means you're not going to be wasting any at any point here in the heroic age when you want to be building a Migdol, as the Sphinx does spot some villagers over here. We'll see if the Sphinx is going to be able to pick off said villager here. He gets another shot onto that one, chasing that one down. One villager will end up getting picked off. Nice play there from Joe to spot that there. As Nullus is motoring ahead in this game. He's dropping down his stables over here. We see the Hades Shade getting taken down. The armory is up and the villagers finishing as the Nephthys are going to be coming down. So Joe going very much all in on this one town center play. This is something we've seen since the start of time almost for Age Mythology. Is the Ancestors Eclipse, one town center fast heroic, Chariot, Archer, Siege, Tower strategy. Do we see a second monument up here for Joe? Doesn't look like just yet. Villagers getting pulled off the gold mine over here, moving over onto the wood. 11 villagers on wood, 9 villagers on gold, a handful of villagers over here on food. Gonna have to move back into the main base. There is still the Argh remaining over here as well, if he wants to grab that. So we see those priests now moving forward, going to be looking for something to do with those, as Joe might want to think about putting a forward Migdol down, especially like on this gold mine or something like that. Wouldn't be a bad idea here. But Nullus is taking this opportunity to spam walls all over the map here, as the villagers moving forward. Mining camp on this position going to be a very, very strong spot for Joe, as he does hit the mythic age there. Not the mythic age, the heroic age there. And I imagine a Migdol will go up very, very shortly. There it goes. 7 village to get that one up with a Migdol, with a Pharaoh. Going to get the Migdol up incredibly fast. And now Joe going to be looking for something to attack. Now he does have to decide which position he wants to fight. This one or this one. That's the big question here. As the units moving forward for Joe, or the 2 myth units moving forward for Joe, looking for a stray villager or 2 to get picked off. The Migdol stronghold is now up. Siege Works coming down as well. Chariot Archer is going to be getting spammed out. Plenty of resources in the bank for Joe. He can make an elephant or 2 as well, which he has been known to do. But holding off on building that one. We still don't see Shaft Mine here. So everything going into military here in this game. As the Sentinels does get dropped on this position here. Siege Towers coming out over here as well. There's another house getting dropped on this position. And we'll see what Joe can make happen here as Nullus is moving his Hippocon forward. you do have to be fairly careful with these Hippocon. You can get some distraction action in with them, but in reality, you don't really want to fight with Hippocon until they're heavy against the Chariot Archer army of the ISIS player. As Joe's going to be searching around the bottom of the map here, looking for an opening, but it's all completely walled off. The siege tower's moving forward. Joe's got himself out of War Elephant now as well, making some cavalry as well. This is I wonder if this is a pretty specific composition that Joe does every single time, because I do see him getting a handful of cavalry out, as well as a War Elephant when he goes for these one town center ISIS plays. But we'll see how it's going to go. As he's going to be breaking down this gate, the unit's going to be piling up into this position. As the gate does get broken down, we see some medium Hippocon moving in onto this position as Joe is setting up over here. The Hippocon going to be pushing in to try and take down these siege towers. The Scorpion Man is here with the Sphinx as well. It's not going to be quite enough. Well, Nullus is not going to be quite enough to slow this one down, but it looks like Nullus has decided to go for the main base, which is very, very scary. I think there definitely could be a different option, which, like this town center over here, might be a better option here, but it seems like Joe's just going to go through the path of least resistance here. As the siege tower is rolling in, going to be able to take down this sentinel as well incredibly easily here. There's more siege towers moving in onto this position. The Ajax coming in here. We see an early restoration getting dropped here as Ancestors Eclipse coming down onto this position. We do have double Scorpion Men here as the Chiron getting some good damage done onto this position. The Hippocon getting pulled back. You basically do have to retreat everything away from this location here if you want to hold and not lose the game instantly, but it is looking like Nullus is trying to defend this one. We see the siege towers getting some good damage done onto the town center. 10 villages inside of the town center going to start shanking away at these siege towers. Nice marker there from Joe, but he will lose one of those siege towers nonetheless, as the villages are getting taken down fairly quickly here. As there's so many siege towers in this base here. Joe's at 118 population. He's got so many units in the base of Nullus. This town center is guaranteed essentially to fall here as more villages are getting taken down. Joe's getting significant amounts of damage done onto the economy of Nullus while this fight is happening. The medium Hippocon coming through here. There's no myth units remaining now for Joe, but it does look like, I tell a lie, the Scorpion Men are here, so they're going to come through and deal with those medium Hippocon very, very easily here, as the settlement does end up falling, and Joe has managed to get that early game damage done, and we'll start seeing farms getting dropped. The game is going to be continuing here. Joe going to be retreating away. Plenty of siege towers in the back. He's trying to keep his Scorpion Man alive, his priest alive as well, to heal that one back up. Makes a lot of sense here. And we'll see if he's going to be able to continue the ordeal here. We're pushing into Nullus's base and taking everything else down. But Nullus here, 79 of 95 population. Joe's 115 of 118 population. As we see the villagers retreating away. These siege towers need to start thinking about getting onto this stable here as soon as they possibly can. The Hades Shades sitting on this position, trying to help out, but they're not really doing a whole lot, as we will be seeing Joe trying to find as much value as he possibly can out of these siege towers, going after these houses, taking down the temple, taking down the watchtower and the sentinel here without much resistance is a really, really good idea. As now we see all of the farms getting chopped over here. Look, there is a crazy amount of farms on this position right now. We've got 21 farms with a whole, like 28 farms after he produces all of them. And does Nullus have a gold mine? Yes, he does have a gold mine over here. So there's no way for Joe to really finish the game here without getting onto that gold mine there. But the siege tower is able to take down these houses nicely. Nullus needs to rebuild them over here, as he is throwing up in the corner of the map here, as he needs to throw down more military buildings as well to hold. And he does not have access to Spirited Charge or anything else for those units here. More buildings getting taken down as Joe is just slowly but surely cleaning up all of the buildings in Nullus's base, as Nullus retreating his Hippocons away. Not able to quite use them just yet. More houses falling as the houses that are getting thrown up in the corner of the map. Just not quite enough to get him above that 85 population. Doesn't even have the resources to be building those houses back up. Well, he kind of does. He's gotten them back up, but he's losing them so quickly as Joe just moving around the base here, cleaning all these buildings. And now Nullus finally able to get up to 115 population. But while that's happening, Joe's managing to get his second town center up, getting his third town center up, taking map control all around the map. We see a cavalry checking out this gold mine over here as well. As the siege towers do get targeted down, the cavalry coming in onto this position with the help of the scorpion men that are moving in here as well. And Joe does see that gold mine, but he hasn't made a move over to it just yet. Going to be able to pick off these Typhicons very, very easily here, it would seem, as the stable does end up going down. As more units are streaming in onto this position, Joe's got his third town center up, starting villages immediately here, as he is going to be retreating back. And we'll see what Joe can manage to do over here against this this Hippocon army. It does seem like Joe's going to be trying to retreat back for the time being, but I do think that he can continue fighting this one if he wants to, especially with this this kind of defensive position that he's managed to get. He does seem to be trying to take down that Chiron, but the Chiron's micro is fairly decent here. The Chariot Archers just barely missed that final shot on the Chiron. The Chariot Archers retreating away as the Scorpion men trying to circle around to the back here. As Joe's Chariot Archer army is kind of getting dealt with at this point, but with those Scorpion men in here, it's going to be getting cleaned up fairly fast as Joe's moving all around the map, going to start throwing down markets in the corner, finding another gold mine over here as well, as that's absolutely huge for Joe, as Nullus now getting himself his second town center back, but Joe's taken the villager lead, 67 villagers. Nullus is at 59 villages, so not so far behind Joe, but doesn't quite have the population or the resources to go heroic age just yet, so he's going to be behind on tech by just a little bit as the units are peeping in onto this location over here to try and take some of these villagers out here. And so those villagers going to go down very, very fast to Joe's cavalry. Another one over here will go down. Nice play here by Joe as Nullus's villagers retreating away. Now we see the Hippocon coming in onto this position. Joe going to have to sort of retreat away from this one just a little bit. He is making some spearmen here, but they're not going to be that useful. As while Joe gets some villager kills, he is kind of out of position. And now Nullus can return a lot of the damage onto Joe that he once suffered. But Joe's got a bit of a trade route started. Where's the market at? The market's in the main base. You can throw the market in this corner at some point. So it's not that bad of a problem to have. If he wants to build the market, he can. We're probably seeing a villager going over there fairly soon. As the raid's continuing to happen on this gold mine, nearly picking off every one of those gold villagers here. There's now... where to next? Joe's going to want to try and control this town center here if he can. If he can control this town center, then he controls the game because he gets 4 town centers effectively. So we'll see how it's all going to go. As Hippocon getting dealt with on this position. Nullus nearly has enough resources to get up to the heroic age here. But the army now moving in. Joe's going to be happy to take this fight here because the Hippocon got no armory upgrades. But it might just not be enough for Joe just yet, as he's getting his adds of weight, getting himself Pori, getting himself medium spearmen. And the Chariot Archers are now going to be getting taken down yet again, as Nullus's Hippocon army is managing to hold firmly and fastly. And with Aphrodite coming through, it's going to be enough to take down some of these units and hold this position, potentially get a third town center for himself. We are seeing a side build coming in for Joe, as well as this villager finally making his way into the corner to build a market. Now Joe going to push in here, try and take down these Hippocon nicely, but he's not paying attention as Nullus is going to be able to take this fight. We do see the Chariot Archers, the army finally deciding to turn around and take this fight just a little bit. The Chariot Archers trying to retreat back and be in an okay position. We see the villagers coming in onto this town center. He's Hades, so no ceasefire available. Has already used his restoration, so he can't hold this position that easily, but Curse will be getting dropped immediately here, you would assume, as the villagers are going to be moving in, chucking down this Migdol stronghold as fast as he possibly can, but does decide against that one in favor of building the barracks here instead, as the Pharaoh will end up getting taken down. The barracks will get up, but I reckon so too will that town center, as now Joe's at 121 of 154 population. Nullus is at 129 of 130 population. Plenty of resources in the bank. I would love to see heavy cavalry getting researched as soon as possible. Now for Nullus, but not happening just yet, as he's managed to push Joe back for the time being. Joe's still pushing through on this top location, pushing off of that gold mine. This gold mine over here has only got 644 gold left in it. This gold mine here's only got 92 gold left in it. So the gold mines are few and far between, with this gold mine over here being slightly exposed and this gold mine being controlled for the time being. So starting to see some Hippocons looking for some raids. There are villagers over here. There are villagers over here. But they're not able to find all too much just yet, as the Hippocon searching for something to take out here in this game, as they're moving up to the top side. Going to look at taking these villagers out as soon as they can. Looks like there is an escape route here though for Joe. If he really wants to, he can come through this gate, but the Hippocon kind of blocking that retreat path out as the units moving in to defend this one, especially with the help of that Scorpion Man. But now that there's heavy cavalry, these Hippocon are going to be fairly decent in this game. And now Joe's got an economy set up. He might want to get himself fortified town centers, get himself to the Mythic Age through Osiris in order to hold on in this game. Nullus, on the other hand, is completely set up, completely happy. We are seeing the heavy Hippocon coming over here. They should be a little bit concerned about the fact that they're fighting against heavy spearmen here, as the spearmen should be able to win this fight. Though it might be close because the Hippocon did have a slight numbers advantage. As we see a couple of random units up here picking off villagers underneath the town center. The town center will be able to pick off these Hippocon relatively fast, but those villagers just jump into the town center and they're going to be fine to pop out a little bit later, as now we're starting to see the siege towers move again. We see Osiris coming through now for Joe as well, as those spearmen that Joe have been making here are getting taken down by Toxotes. It's not something you really want here, as Joe has to retreat away. Meanwhile, the Hippocon have found another villager over here that they can take out. Joe, or Nullus I should say, not quite in the next age just yet, as those Toxotes dealing some good damage from afar. The heavy Hippocon looking to push in as well. The units will be pulling back. Siege Works is now up for Joe. And essentially he kind of needs the Son of Osiris to help push through this army. Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits, Heedless Chicken. Did you donate bits yesterday as well? Thanks so much, my friend. I appreciate you. There's the army here for Nullus is just sitting in the back here, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can. No real side builds have really started. This random tower over here is going to get picked off by those Hippocon. There's the Mythic Age for Joe. Nullus going up through Hephaestus here, as he's going to be a little bit later throwing up this temple that he did lose, hopefully in time for Hephaestus, as we see the Son of Osiris pushing in onto this position over here, as villagers are making their way forward to potentially drop a Migdol on the front here. Maybe some towers on the front as well, as the Toxotes are going to be retreating away. And we do indeed see towers coming down, as Joe wants to start putting the pressure onto this town center the best way that he knows how, which is being incredibly tower driven, as the siege towers just sitting in the back here, not really doing all too much, leaving that mummy in the back just in case there's a potential colossus that could come in here. As now Nullus moves forward with 1480 shades. This is an unintentional bug here by Nullus as he lost the temple early and he just didn't rebuild it. But he does get the handful of Hades Shades here to help thwart the push, as we do see this Chiron trying to go after the mummy over here. But Joe does notice that one going to be retreating back nicely. We see the Spearman versus Hades Shade kind of army. Nice marker there from Joe, making sure he doesn't take too much damage over here. Where's the Colossus moving? The Colossus moving into this fight. There is a mummy here, so he's going to have to think about somewhere else to go. He wants to kind of stay alive. So we're going to be getting some special abilities off here. Siege Tower's moving through. Nullus is at 140 population. Joe's at 158 population here. As the town center now under siege, we've got a catapult here. We've got a siege tower on the front. The tower's coming up as well. I'd love to see a little cheeky wall getting dropped over here as well for Joe in order to make sure he can't lose this this catapult. And we see a second catapult now rolling in for Joe as he's just he's not like necessarily in front or anything in terms of economy, but he's just got himself a lot better economy than you would expect here, as the Son of Osiris is currently getting absolutely annihilated here as Joe is trying to retreat that one back, but he's possibly going to be losing it. He does manage to get it away, gets into the tower, but he's now only got 100 HP remaining. So we see the mummy going to be taking out that Colossus, I'm sure there. Goes down immediately, but Nullus does lose his town center as the might of the Egyptian army here, the Osiris-Isis Egyptian army, is just simply too much for Nullus to handle here, as Nullus is retreating back. He's sitting still at 130-ish population, though. Getting himself copper weapons, copper mail, copper shields. Does he have himself... No, he doesn't have Underworld because he went through Aphrodite. I have to use that curse, I think. That's what happened in this game. Yep. Getting all the games kind of mixed up in my brain. There's now Joe waiting on a few more resources. He can think about throwing towers down here if he so chooses. As the Son of Osiris going to continue putting the pressure on. The other option, obviously, is to just try and grab the town center for yourself straight away, which does sometimes work. And Nullus getting pushed back into his base. He does have some villagers over on this gold mine, so a handful of units getting trained out of this wouldn't be a bad idea. And that's exactly what we're seeing there by Joe. One spearman popping out to push off of that location. And now we see that the... unfortunately here, we see that the Son of Osiris has been caught out. It's got himself 76 HP now. It does turn around, going to start taking down the Achilles here. As the villagers going to be moving on to this position to try and deny this town center for as long as they can. The Son of Osiris here, 13 HP remaining. Definitely keep that one shooting here in this game to get as much damage as you possibly can out of it. As the catapults are taking down the straggler fortress on this position. And Joe's still not able to get this town center up. Definitely would be a smarter idea to go for a Migdol, and that's now what he's going to try and do, utilizing the Son of Osiris as well to make that happen here. As Joe notices those Hippocon are looking mightily scary as he pulls back, could jump into that tower if he needs to. Hold on, we don't see any other side builds just yet coming down for Joe. He's just kind of focusing everything onto this position, which I guess is completely fair. Some more villagers getting taken down over here as Joe has to basically garrison every time a unit gets close. He's trying to get as much value out of that Son of Osiris as he possibly can here. He's got 5 HP remaining. That's nothing here. Going to be empowering the Migdol Stronghold to get a little bit extra damage done. So now the villagers are going to want to try and grab this this town center here as soon as they can. So we'll just start throwing that up now. And Joe retreating his villagers back into the Migdol Stronghold. Still, we've got a trade route started for Nullus, 61 villagers, 18 donkey caravans. Joe, on the other hand, has got 14 camel caravans here as the army of Joe pushing in to try and take these Toxotes down. We see the Chiron getting picked off here. As Joe is doing his darnness to pick everything off as best as he can. Nullus now, what are his armory upgrades looking like? Nearly full bronze. Joe, on the other hand, he has got full copper, so not a huge advantage in terms of tech here for Joe. Or I should say for Nullus, as we see Cilia dead coming in. That's going to give this Son of Osiris a little bit more life in this game. Actually a smart move to grab that one there, keeping the Son of Osiris alive. So that's going to pop up just a little bit. We'll see how much he goes up to. The Chariot Arch is going to be continuing to push through. Still only 2 villages on this town center, but it's going up fast. As City of the Dead comes in, 131 HP for the Son of Osiris here, as it's going to be yet again taking some damage, but it's a scary sight, that's for sure, to see it back up a little bit of HP there. 101 HP remaining now. So the town center is just about to come up. And what really can Nullus do here? He doesn't have fortified town centers. He doesn't have fully upgraded units. He doesn't have any crazy amounts of siege. And he's just dropping buildings like it's going out of fashion here. Chariot Arch is still trying to push through here. And Nullus is refusing to give up in this game. He's making himself Colossus, going to figure out somewhere else where he can attack. But now Joe's at 181, 190 population. Nullus is at 122 of 120 population. As the Colossus moving in here, we will be seeing the Son of Osiris try and clean this one up. You can use those catapults to get some extra damage done onto the Colossus. Funnily enough, if they actually do hit said Colossus, it's a different story. So the village is going to retreat back into the town center before going back to their once predetermined job here. There's more buildings coming down on this position. The units getting pushed back. Nullus still kind of happily at nearly full population, but so too now is Joe, and Joe's at a lot more than just full population. 192 population as he does come through, spots the trade route, going to start picking off some economy now of Nullus, as Nullus has only got the 1 gold mine remaining, just about expired over here. This barracks can build some spearmen straight in onto it as well if he so chooses. So those donkey caravans are mostly getting taken out here. And really, what is Nullus trying to do in this game? I don't see him going for all too much here. He's trying to hold on as best as he can, but those Hippocon getting taken down very, very fast. Joe needs to get some more armory upgrades in here. Get himself the bronze mail, the bronze shield, bronze weapons even a little bit later. And now we're starting to see Joe's unrelenting Egyptian pressure mounting here, throwing up a guard tower on this position here, as the stable going to be going down over there as well. As Nefarud getting focused down, doesn't quite get picked off here. But the guard tower will get thrown up as soon as possible. We see the siege towers rolling in now as the temple gets taken out. And Nullus is just in a bit of a predicament. He does have a way back in here. He needs to like kind of wall this up and get a fortress sitting in here. But the fact that these towers are just continuing to come up, and Joe's already got guard towers, means that they do even more damage. It just means that his next town center is going to be suffering very, very soon here. As the Son of Osiris getting some good damage done over here as well. We see the units dropping into the towers, doing what they need to do. The siege tower's getting pulled back as Joe still slowly but surely making his way forward here. This Son of Osiris at 74 HP, still getting shots off, still staying alive in this game as more buildings fall and the siege tower's moving in to take this once felled town center down yet again. As Joe rolls forward with the catapult. Going after the town center. His catapult is fairly naked here, but more towers will be coming up over here. As you can see, that Joe just kind of spams them out without too much care as to where they're going. But the catapult does end up getting picked off. The siege tower is getting picked off as well, as now Joe's going to need to produce some more siege weapons, getting some more siege towers in here. But his towers will be up, and that is the scariest thing here for Nullus, as he's got, I mean, he's got a fortress over here. He's not making any Metropolis. He's got not many units, or not many resources in the bank. He does have himself a plenty vault, so that's helping him out a little bit here. How are the armory upgrades looking? Full iron right now for Nullus compared to Joe's at nearly full bronze. So still a big advantage in the army, but the population differential is just too much here, it would seem. As the siege tower's rolling through, yet again, going to be tanking some of that damage there. Now we can also start seeing some mercenary getting spammed in onto this position because Joe's got 23 camel caravans. He's no longer building camel caravans, but he's got a ton of them. So it's now 192 population army plus infinite mercs, which is a big deal here. As the town center under threat yet again, we see these villages all popping up these towers as fast as they possibly can here. As the siege towers making their way onto this town center, this hometown center, and Nullus trying to hold on here as best as he, with utmost might. I feel like this town center is not long for this world, and if it does go down, Nullus is going to drop down to 115 population, not even dropping down to 120 population, down to 115. So still in a very difficult position, and in that moment, Nullus does decide to tap out. Joe showing why he's one of the best Egyptian players in the game. He shows off this build that we've seen before in this tournament, actually, with ISIS, where he goes for the one town center all in, and then he just follows it up with a very calm 3 town center boom in the heroic age into just solid Egyptian late game here. Nothing really too crazy special. I think that you just have to have a better game plan at defending Ancestors Eclipse than Nullus did. And that's just the first game there, ladies and gentlemen. A fairly strong win here for Joe. It took him 32 minutes to actually claim it, but never really in doubt, if you ask me. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.